Hi there, it's Jingjing. I hope you're enjoying the last part of 2016. It's hard to believe we're soon saying goodbye to this eventful year. It has got really cold all of a sudden in Shanghai. But I actually love cold weather just as much as I enjoy summer. Summer is always nice, but winter offers opportunities of coziness and warmth, which I find so precious and lovely. That's the beauty of life. There is a gift for us in every situation if we're willing to look for it. In our last video, we talked about the concept of upper limit problem and how the fact that it's an unconscious pattern can stop us from living the fuller life we desire. And I've left some homework for you to do so that you can examine if and where you might be upper limiting yourself. And that was all about observation without judgment of self. In this video, I'm going to share with you what you can do to consciously transcend and move beyond those limits. Of course, I highly recommend you read the book The Big Leap, where the author offered practices throughout the book. But in this video, I'm going to share with you some combined tips for you to utilize this knowledge and consciously expand your life in harmonious ways. Tip number 1, you've got to make your internal life the top priority. Sounds too fancy. In simple words, you've got to decide that nothing is more important than you feeling good. We must realize ultimately we humans are here having an emotional experience. Just think everything we want is because we believe we will feel good when we have them, right? And we all know at our deathbed, we won't count how much we have accomplished. We would recall all the wonderful emotions we've experienced. So the internal life is the real game here, which can be called being. The external is what keeps us passionately engaged through acting, and is also what keeps the whole world running in a magnificent way. So yes, we want the external stuff and results, but we must not lose sight of the truth. We must make our internal life the top priority and set high standard for how we want to feel within. Joy, purity of love, deep connection, fulfillment, harmony, peace, balance. This may sound like a no-brainer. Who doesn't want to be happy, right? But we all know, I say this with love and respect, so many of us are sloppy with this because somewhere along the line, we're being so distracted by the magnificence of the outside world. Without knowing it, we become externally driven and become insensitive to our internal feelings. And the consequence is we chase a lot of stuff or people on the outside, but we don't really feel good within. And then we're confused. So, first step, we must reset the button, make a new commitment to ourselves. I truly desire a high-quality internal life. With this new commitment, your life will shift all around because your central focus of life will be different. This focus is clear, centered, and very wise because it's true to yourself, which is the highest form of wisdom you can tap into, which is, by the way, what we're being distracted away from when the external takes hold of us. When you make your internal life the top priority, you will align all of your choices in life in the most fulfilling, joyful, and truthful ways. What you pursue, you will pursue with joy and passion because it's truly what you want, and you will become acute to your emotions and feelings, which is wonderful because they are guidance to let you know whether you're off track or on track, and then you can realign your choices with your new commitment. This is another way to say you will live your life very consciously instead of floating around being influenced or even controlled by the external world through should, must, or have to. You will start taking charge of your choices and your life bit by bit by doing things that are truly aligned with your heart wisdom. I'm aware you might already pop questions, but does it mean that I'll sacrifice the external comfort or results in order to just feel good? No, the subject itself can turn into a whole video, but I will make it short here. Most of our world are living it backward. We let the external decide how we feel within, Therefore, we're totally bound and limited. As we're all collectively awakening to the truth of life, we're coming to remember this fundamental knowledge about energy and creation. The truth, capital T, is by the laws of universe and physics, how we feel within determines the quality of experience we have on the outside, which simply means the better you feel within, the better experiences you have on the outside. That's the law of attraction in a nutshell. Now you know the importance and the genius of making your internal life the top priority. What's next? Tip number 2, understand your negative emotions and feelings. Committed to making feeling good the top priority does not mean you won't feel quote-unquote negative emotions such as anger, worry, hurt, sadness, jealousy, hatred, etc. Far from the truth. It's very important to understand that it's a big part of being a human being, especially at this point in history. I will get to that in a minute. As part of human conditioning, we're taught quote-unquote negative emotions are bad, and therefore we learn to suppress our negative emotions. For example, don't get mad at people. Don't cry when you feel hurt or sad. Therefore, what's prevailing among humans are we either suppress our emotions or we ignore them at its initial stage. And as time goes on, these unexpressed emotions actually become stored energy in our body. And until to a point of being too loaded, it will explode at a tiny trigger by someone or some event. This is what I talk about in depth in the emotional freedom technique video. So you might want to go back and watch that one as well. Now, a key factor around this is right now is a time of collective consciousness awakening. This awakening can simply mean everyone's going through an internal energetic shift. Whether we know it or not, we're all shifting to lighter energy, to higher vibrational frequency. Ultimately, this will show up as us feeling lighter, more clarity, more expanded in our thinking, more open-hearted, less bound by the limiting beliefs or fears, etc. And a big part of this energetic shift is done through clearing all the dense energies we carry within our consciousness, through releasing the distortions within our emotional body that has been stored due to all the suppressions and limitations we impose onto ourselves. So, if you've been experiencing any emotional turbulence or will be, don't be surprised. It's a good thing, even though it doesn't feel so in the midst of it. What's really happening with your negative emotions is you are releasing those stored energy in your body. So do not blame yourself for having those emotions. Do not try to suppress them again. No, they are coming up to be finally released so that you can be lighter and freer emotionally, so that not only you're able to feel better consistently, but also your cleared energy field within will match you up with more wonderful experiences on the outside. Again, that's the laws of physics and energy. Before you wonder, should I just lash out at people when my anger gets triggered or my heart gets stirred up? Let's look at tip number 3, which will give you the answer. Tip number 3, feel your emotions fully and take full responsibility. Having understood the reasons behind the negative emotions, your next step is to feel those emotions fully while taking full responsibility. What this means is be aware and conscious to remember that the other people or events are only a trigger to help you release those stored emotional energies in your body. So it's not their fault, even though it really looks like it is. It's not that they're doing it onto you and you're not the victim of the situation, even though it really feels like so. If you still wonder, but why nobody else, only this person makes me feel so strongly? Here's the answer you're looking for. Relationships are the most fulfilling yet also the most challenging thing ever on the planet. A huge part of the reason is it provides opportunities for both people to grow and evolve, not so much through good times, but often through tough times when one or both are triggered into strong emotions, so that they can release the heavy and dense energies or the fears or self-limitations within, so that they can move on lighter and brighter on their evolutionary journey. So you could really say that both people in a situation are on a divine contract to serve each other. It's not only beautiful, but also sacred. This is a very profound reminder, for when you see relationships this way, you transcend the limited perspective of right or wrong, and you will not blame the other for the emotions you feel. Instead, you take full responsibility while honoring yourself in the process of feeling these emotions, knowing they are serving you to release and evolve. Now you might think, does it mean we let people walk all over us, do whatever they want? The answer is no. On the contrary, we must be very alert and aware what we allow in our life and set clear boundaries on what's acceptable and what's not. That's tip number 4. Tip number 4, set boundaries with people until you don't need boundaries anymore. This is a hard one, so hard that the entire humanity has difficulties with it and are learning about it big time now. We don't like to upset people by saying no, let alone telling them what they do is not acceptable to us. Fundamentally, it's because we ourselves have the deep fear of being rejected, being disapproved, or being denied. Just look how many of us are afraid of public speaking. At the root of that anxiety or nervousness is the fear of being judged, being rejected, or being disapproved. But that fear of being rejected or disapproved comes from a distorted belief in the first place. That belief is others have the power to decide our value with their approval or validation. But the truth is, as a divine soul being having this physical experience, we can never be disapproved, rejected, or denied because we have inherent and unique value, immeasurable on human terms. And we don't need approval, validation from others to start with. However, despite the undeniable value of our being, it doesn't mean everything we do on this physical plane are to be encouraged in this state of consciousness. For example, actions of disrespect, dishonor, disintegrity, disconnection. And these actions are always because we lack self-respect, honor for self, integrity to self, connection with ourself. So these are in fact the ones we're here to transcend in this consciousness awakening process as well, so that we can evolve to higher consciousness of pure respect, pure honor, pure integrity, pure love for ourselves and for everyone else. With that said, boundaries are needed to let people know what's accepted in your life and what's not. This can be done with respect, compassion, and gentle care, but still need to be done so that everyone involved knows what is respect and honor for others and for self, and everyone can move towards that higher consciousness. And of course, at the same time, we are always the ones practicing such higher consciousness first. Can you see the perfection of all of this together? And very soon, boundaries will be unnecessary for you, because as you firmly practice this, you will only draw to you people who are aligned with higher consciousness of such purity. And eventually, everyone will be inspired and learning to operate from such purity of love, respect, honor, integrity, transparency, appreciation, compassion, caring. Then it will be our default mode. And you could say that's the template of new human beings in the years to come. It's very exciting for humanity. I'm aware this video is running much longer than usual, and thank you for staying to the end. These 4 tips are connected and focused on assisting you in your energetic shift process or consciousness awakening. If you practice them, you'll be rewarded with a fresh new life that feels lighter and easier when you face with emotional challenges, and you will start experiencing more vibrancy, more clarity, more purpose, more joy, more good feelings. That's not too big a promise at all. I hope this video is helpful, and I will see you next time.